After 12 years, I'm 99.99% confident my wife has been having an affair for the past 2 years. Warning long post. Edit 1 asterisk thanks for the responses so far. Key thing I left out. I'm planning on meeting with A before I file for divorce. I haven't said anything to J yet, but I'm going to blackmail him with this to force answers out of him. She's definitely the man in that relationship and I know he'll be terrified of her finding anything out, so if I can get a confessed truth from him beforehand, it'll make this process a lot easier. Wife knows I'm planning on meeting A, but under the pretense that I just want to clear the air, hit the reset button, and move forward. She thinks that means apologize to him and re-establish our friendship. She's very wrong about. Nice thing is because of this she's happy to hear I'm meeting him, so I don't have to worry about doing this in secrecy. Edit 2 asterisk well, I thought I was meeting with the lawyers today, but I guess I was just getting the preliminary paperwork filled out with the paralegal and that I'm looking at Tuesday before I can have my consultation. Other issue is they want a $10,000 refundable retainer fee. I have the money but only in joint accounts, so I have to figure that hurdle out. I'll update everyone as this progresses. This is by far the most difficult post I've ever had to write and I can't even express the feelings going through me right now. I, M33, have been with my wife, F31, for 12 years now, married for 7. The first 10 years were fantastic. We've built an amazing relationship, traveled the world, and created what I thought was an unbreakable bond of love, but I'm afraid I was wrong and it's absolutely killing me. 8 years ago she started working with this guy, we'll call him A. Never any issues or suspicious behavior, in fact we become great friends with A and his longtime girlfriend J. Over the years we'd hang out quite bit, go over for barbecues and holidays and everything was good. About 2 years ago though, my wife's relationship with A changed dramatically and I started logging and documenting every bit of activity between them that I noticed, as well as first-hand accounts I witnessed. Here's my 2-year log if you feel like reading it. April 2021. Up until this month I was consistently going to softball every week with my wife to watch A and his team play. One week, I was tired and didn't want to attend. I offered to be a DD and dropped my wife off. They all went out afterwards and at 1:30 a.m., I had still not heard from her. I called at 1:45 a.m. and she said they were at a local bar, so I headed that way. I sat out front at 2 a.m. and the bar was closed, but my wife was nowhere to be found and didn't answer my calls. 10 minutes later at 2:10 a.m. she texted me, she was in A's car talking to him. I took her home at 2:15 when she finally got out. I didn't think anything of this occurrence because she had never given me reason to mistrust her. She said he was going through some difficult things and she was being a listening ear for him. The following week she asked me not to come to softball anymore. I was baffled because in our 10+ years together, she had never asked me not to be somewhere. We've always been close and she had enjoyed my company. Now she doesn't want me there anymore? Her explanation was, I just want some me time with my co-workers. This would mark the first of 12 times she would ask me not to come somewhere over the next 14 months, each time progressively getting more aggressive. A is the only common denominator present in those 12 occurrences. Wife starts a rigorous weight loss regimen. Proceeds to lose 50 pounds through the year. May-June 2021. Remainder of softball season she requests I don't join her anymore. Her and A go out after softball and stay out until after midnight at the least each time. Unknown which weekend it occurred, but J, A's girlfriend of 12 years, leaves town for a weekend to go see family. My wife spends the entire Saturday I'm at work, from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. at A's house alone with him watching movies. She claims he needed her help taking care of his dog. July 2021, J leaves town another weekend this month. Again, my wife spends every minute I'm at work with him. Again, saying he needed her help with the dog. That Saturday evening we had plans to take our dog to the park. Wife changed her mind and decided to go with A to take his dog to the park instead. October 2021, wife and A are now in a constant state of hanging out together multiple times a week alone, and I'm often left by myself at home while they're out together. Weekends are midnight 2 nights for them. Wife switches jobs. A follows her to the new job and put in for the same lunch hour. They eat lunch together and walk the path at work together every day. They work for a big corporate place that has a 2-mile nature walking path outside of the building. September 4th Park incident. I'm going an hour out of town to attend a going away party for a friend. Wife says she's staying in town to hang out with A. I drop her off in the late afternoon at a bar before I head out. I'm arranged to be her DD when I get back into town. The following timeline and events occur. 1:42 am. I'm getting back into town. I call wife, who is clearly intoxicated, to let her know. She gets angry, defensive, and starts swearing at me, telling me she's not ready to be picked up yet, and hangs up on me. Bars are already kicking people out, so why wouldn't she be ready? I proceed to head home. 2 am. I still haven't heard from her. The bars are closed, so where could she be? I decide to head into town and look for her. We have our phones tracked, so I pull up the app and she's disabled her location. 2:10 am. I try to call. No answer. 2:15 am. I try to call again. No answer. 2:20 am. I call again. She answers and says they're at a local park and to come get them. 2:25 am. I get to the park and look all over but can't find them. I call her again and they come up from down by the creek in the pitch black. Her earring fell off down there and they're looking for it. What are they doing down by the creek in the pitch black at 2:30 in the morning, and how did her earring just fall off? 2:45 am. We just dropped A off. On our way home, wife tells me she doesn't want A to marry J anymore. This is after a couple years of talking to J about marrying A and how excited she was for them to eventually get engaged. December 2021, wife approaches me about going skiing with A. This is a hobby she's never before expressed interest in before. They take a few trips through the season from open to close, often going out afterwards. Wife and A start their snap streak on Snapchat. They begin to snap each other obsessively every day from this point on. This becomes the only form of communications they've used to this day. January 2022, wife has a medical issue that is going to require an MRI and she has to have a driver due to being on narcotics for her appointment. I have Thursdays off, but she scheduled it for a Wednesday, A's day off, and tells me he's going to be her driver. I object to this and tell her I'll switch my days off that week and be her ride. This is a sensitive medical issue, and being her husband, I should be there for her. She gets angry, tells me she doesn't want me to be her driver and that A is going to do it. Not only does he take her to her appointment at 8 am but proceeds to stay at our house alone with her all day and leaves right before I get off work. Why didn't she schedule for my day off instead of his? March-June 2022. Softball season resumes, and like the previous year, I'm disinvited. Midnight to 2 am nights are normal again. On weeks that I'm working until 7, her and A will come back to our house and hang out before softball starts. On weeks I'm off at 5, they go to a bar or straight to the fields after work. I got off early on a late week and surprised them at the house. They were eating dinner together. June 24th, Fallout incident, I'm out at a bar with a couple friends. Wife is having dinner at a restaurant across the street with A and didn't want me to join. She texts me and asks if her and A can come up and join for a quick beer before they move on to the next bar. They arrive and, as they're getting ready to leave, I insist on joining them. She doesn't want me to, we butt heads a little but gives in and says yes. While at the next bar, we're talking about football vs soccer and wife asks A if he's ever been to an NFL game. He says no and she responds with, I'm going to take to a game one day, love. I immediately catch that and asked if she just called him love. She appears shocked at first, assuming she just realized she accidentally did that, and responds with, yes, I call everyone love. Spoiler alert, she doesn't. After that happened, A stopped talking to me, so I walked about 4 feet to the bar to talk with the bartender who we're friends with. I see A and wife whispering to each other. A gets up to go to the restroom and wife says she's going to use the restroom as well. Suspicious of this, I stand in eye view of the restrooms upstairs. I witness A come out of the men's room and instead of coming back, he stands behind a wall next to the restrooms and waits for my wife. She comes out and they walk together behind a wall out of sight from the bar. After about 2 minutes of waiting for them, I'm overloaded with anxiety, so I start to march up there and confront them when A comes around the corner, storms down the ramp looking angry and glares at me while he walks past. Wife is around the corner crying. I asked her what was wrong and she says nothing, A is just in. At this point I've had enough, I've seen enough, and I'm confident there's a relationship going on, so I call her out on it and demand answers. We sit in her car for 4 hours discussing everything. She gives me mixed responses, changes her answers, and stands firm that there was never anything happening. December 2022, she abruptly stops hanging out with A except for lunches at work following the fallout. We go on my birthday trip to Denver in July. Less than 30 minutes after checking into the hotel, after a 6-hour drive, she confronts me about how hurt she is. I don't believe her about her relationship with A and guilt trips me over her depression she's feeling about it. I'm given an ultimatum to either believe her or pack back up and go home, Despite not hanging out, she still snaps him, and to this day they haven't missed a day since November 2021. November, she approaches me about how she misses A and wants to hang out with him again. I oblige, knowing I'm likely filing for divorce anyways. Things start to pick up exactly as they were beforehand. Slowly, with more obsessive Snapchatting, then back to hanging out off and on. Wife, A, myself and a friend go out after a going away party. At 11:30 p.m. wife starts getting affectionate with me. A turns red with anger, tapping the table and watching a sports game on the TV. When my wife asks him what's wrong, he responds in an agitated "Nothing, I'm fine." He then proceeds to stand up and leave. We explain we just cashed out and that we'll walk together back to the cars, in which responds, again aggressively, "No thank you, I don't want to intrude on you guys," while looking right at my wife and I. January 2023, we take a vacation to Australia and New Zealand. During this trip, wife Snapchats A every single day from the moment he wakes up back home until midnight 1 am home time. It's so obsessive she's doing it while we're out on excursions and supposed to be experiencing this country together. During this trip, I notice she's hiding his snaps from me. When I'm sitting next to her with her phone in eye shot, I'll watch her open up everyone's snaps except for A's. She'll leave that unopened, and within a few minutes each time she'll either ask me to go get a drink or something to leave the table, or she'll go use the restroom. As soon as I leave the table, she picks up her phone and opens his snaps. Suspicious that she was hiding these from me, I tested my theory during one of our sea days. I noticed she didn't open up his snap, and sure enough, a couple minutes later she asks me to go get her a drink. I oblige as the bar is only a few feet away. As soon as I get over to the bar, I notice her pick up her phone, so I bolt right back to the table, and she has Snapchat opened and her finger is on its way to clicking on A's snap. She notices me back last second, stops, closes the app and waits for me to leave again. I take a quick drink and go back to the bar. This time, she looks over her shoulder twice to make sure I'm not coming back before she opens it up again. The following day we're on a bus and I witness her get a paragraph-long message from A. Before she responded to him, she exited the conversation, which deletes his message, then went back into it to respond. I confronted her about this situation, in which she calmly responded that she didn't realize she was hiding them from me and reassured there was nothing going on. These were voluntary actions she had to take. You can't accidentally do that. We're on the other side of the planet and I can't just jump off a ship, so I play dumb and move on from it. 2 days later we're at a trivia night on the ship. This is the night she has been the most intoxicated and she wasn't being as careful hiding his snaps. I look over and read the following exchange. Wife, I don't want to hear another sob story from you. A sends a snap back that's top to bottom covered in text, in which she immediately closes it without reading. Wife, I told you already, I've made my decision, we're boarding the plane in Auckland to head home. As we're buckling in for takeoff, I notice he sends her a couple paragraphs worth of text on Snapchat. It's 2 a.m. at home at this time, so I confront her and ask her why he's texting her so late. She gets upset and says he's just saying goodnight and wishing us a safe flight. We proceed to get into an argument. I bring up the aforementioned conversation I oversaw, in which she appeared shocked that I saw that and couldn't provide an explanation. She says she doesn't remember what that was about. A takes a PTO day at work to go skiing with my wife the second day we're back, Friday, despite them both having Saturday and Sunday off. In our first 2 days back, they spend a day and a half together. A couple things of note here as well. In March of 2021 she changed her profile picture on FB from one that had both of us to one of just her. She's changed it 7 times since then and has never had one with me in it. Despite every profile picture before 2021 having us both. Maybe a coincidence / probably not. Her responses to the park incident: 1. Nothing happened. 2. I don't think anything happened. 3. We talked the next day because we were afraid something happened, but neither of us remember. 4. I'm 90% sure nothing happened. Her answers to the fallout incident: what were they talking about behind the wall? 1. I can't tell you, it's a secret about someone we both know. 2. Fine, he was talking about the bartender, our friend, and we got into a fight over it. 3. Okay, he wasn't talking about the bartender, but it's still about someone we know and I can't tell you. So here we are. It is so obvious every time I read through this log that they're having a relationship. Even if they didn't do anything physically, which I believe the park incident they did, she's still clearly having an emotional affair. I know a lot of people are going to say I should have ended this last year, and you're absolutely right, but I have to be honest, it's just not that easy. I've been with this woman for 12 years now, that's over a third of my entire life. She's my first love and the person I thought I'd spend the rest of my life with, so this has been, and will be the most difficult and challenging thing I'll ever go through. I'm sorry for such a long post, but I feel so alone right now because I haven't been able to talk to anyone about this because I didn't want it getting back to my wife. I want to handle this on my own terms at a time of my own choosing. I just need support and reassurance that I'm not being an insecure husband overblowing this situation. Thanks to those who took time to read this. I'm ending this relationship in the next couple weeks and I pray the healing process is easier than I'm expecting. So she has been dating A for the last 2 years right in front of you. Your story is full of red flags from her end. You have caught them every time, however you've always made a mistake of confronting her without evidence and letting her walk away with anything. The fact that she has been smart enough to ensure she has deleted the messages so that you don't find anything is enough for you to know that you are neither insecure nor hallucinating. She has been having an affair for the last 2 years. This brings you to the question, are you willing to stay like this for the remainder of your life or until she leaves you, or are you going to stop the pick-me dance and do something? Get a pie involved, bud, get the evidence and get yourself out of there. She is lying through her teeth and you are letting her get away with it. Go see a lawyer, get everything in order, financially serve her and move on. She making a mug out of you. Brother, this was a really tough read. From early on, anyone reading this knew what was happening. But being in the middle of it, coupled with the emotions involved, makes it hard to see the forest for the trees sometimes. Deep down you know, and I think have known for a while, what you need to do, and it appears you are heading towards the divorce your wife's actions definitely call for. Read all the advice here, then act in your own best interest. Your wife no longer should factor in what you decide to do moving forward. She's demonstrated nothing but disrespect towards you, and it's time for her to pay the piper and reap the consequences of the poor decisions she's made regarding you and your marriage. Please move on without her. Good luck. Oh, honey, I hope that's an okay term to use. Reading this broke my heart. I can feel how much you loved your wife, and how much you wanted to trust her and give her the benefit of the doubt. Based on the evidence you've provided, this was a full-blown relationship that was almost certainly physical, too. I am so sorry. You seem to have a very kind nature, and I hope your future is much brighter than the last few years have been. You deserve it. Yep, sounds like my story. She around now decided to keep the safe option. The other guy won't give up. She gets cake and you live in a situation where you are the guy she just stayed together cause it's safe. In her mind she will always think about A and what could have been. After reading this, I now want to divorce your wife. Even if we take out the obvious physical affair, it's so blatantly obvious she's in love with this guy and has no respect for her relationship to you and your boundaries. Divorce her and move on with your life. Find someone who can give you the respect you deserve. Stop accepting this from her. Get your dignity back. Yeah, I actually read through your timeline. From the first month, you could tell that A has been your wife. Doubt you will get anything out of A, but you have nothing to lose at this point anyway, so why not? I would blow up A's world and clue J into what has been going on. Good luck, and if you are not aware, look up the Healing Heart, the 180 and Grey Rock to get you through the divorce. At this point, unless catching her helps the divorce, why are you staying? Is a life of complete distrust and inability to hold your wife accountable really what you want? You are still only 99.99% sure? Your wife goes out with another man, stays there till 3 a.m., another man stays with your wife in your own house every day, and you still think nothing is happening. You genuinely love pain. Don't even confront A, inform his girlfriend, divorce your wife and move on. You are not overly insecure nor overblowing this. You should have set a firm boundary on A, including she goes NC and no longer works with him long ago. See a lawyer. While you are getting everything lined up, go 180/Grey Rock. Stop all interest in her, and A keep gathering evidence. Get an STD test. When you have filed, catch J up on the situation. Don't let your wife spin this, or let her gaslight, or darvo you. How the do you even let your wife hang out that much with any other man? Half of it is your fault as well. I'm meeting with my lawyer today. Turns out they can subpoena Snapchat and everything she's snapped him is saved to a cloud for 5 years. Definitely the way to go, buddy. You don't need this, but while you're waiting on the statement from Snapchat, get all your financials in order. Hit her with divorce papers. Getting her served at work cause as much misery and mayhem for her. Notify the A's partner, watch their world crumble. Flog the house with garden if you too own it, and if it's leased just bail and go no contact. Inform everyone of what she has done, informing them the day she gets served so she can't lie on the narrative. Keep me updated on this if you can TFM. Needed all this support. Thank you. Just pulled up to the lawyer's office and I'm shaking. Had to read through comments like this to get me out of the car. And in his own home. She is heartless. Thank you so much. I truly love my wife with every depth of my soul. This is incredibly painful, but everyone's support on this thread has helped beyond measure and given me the strength to start putting one foot in front of the other. I'm not staying. I'm meeting with a lawyer today to figure out a timetable moving forward. You are absolutely correct and I'm ashamed of it, but it is what it is. I was just too afraid to confront it. For your sake, I hope you live in a at-fault state. If you do, their communications can make a big difference as far as the divorce goes. Really? Their website says it's deleted. I'm wondering if this is true so I can do the same thing. Is the lawyer sure? Have they done this before? You're a steely-eyed missile man, don't give up. She is going to give you all kinds of stories. Let them bounce off your armor as you push through to the clearing that opens into the rest of your life. You'll be free of the anxiety soon and find someone who doesn't make you have to get out of your car at a lawyer's office, shaking. You're done being disrespected. You know what happened, you know what to do, and we're 100% behind you. I honestly cannot fathom how you could love her at this point. DNE, attack, a reverse victim offender. Your wife has already employed this manipulative tactic. It goes without say she's DNE'd it. Then she a reverse victim offender D when she made herself out to be the victim of an untrustworthy husband, and said she was so hurt and depressed over you not believing her denial. Darvo is typical and part of the cheater flow chart. This is more than just manipulation, it's emotional abuse. Start looking into an individual therapist for yourself who specializes in betrayal trauma. Once your wife is served with the papers, she'll meet you with what? Hey, why? And when you confront her about her adultery, and when she feels her back is against the wall, this is when she'll start trickle truth. She'll at first admit only to what you can prove. She'll admit that she talks to him too much. She may then admit that some of their convos are not appropriate for two people in relationship. Then the trickle truth, what that is when cheaters give you a little bit of truth, or close to the truth, at a time. She'll say he tried to kiss her once. It's always once. B/C cheaters know if it was once. Your average person may be able to forgive that for giving years of millions of lies and deceptions, and she rebuffed him. Okay, they kissed one time but that was it. Okay, she let him feel her up once, but that's it. And on and on. You're gonna think I'm an oracle or something, but the truth is cheaters typically follow the same script. If you search Reddit, there's even a sub for cheaters where they encourage each other and give tips on what they call OPSEC. For all you know, your wife has posted there and they helped her with her OPSEC. Communicating through Snapchat only, and opening then closing the messages so that they disappear, etc. Read their posts where they ask for advice about what to do when caught. They advise each other to lie/deny until they absolutely can't no more, inform the AP, lay low, take the affair further underground, agree to marriage counseling. They make fun out of this. Your wife is a garden variety cheater. What's unique about your situation is that it's happening to you. I'm so sorry to say. Another great community for support is survivinginfidelity.com, https://www.survivinginfidelity.com/ Chumplaty, https://www.chumplaty.com/2012/05/ I just discovered I was cheated on now what/ is an excellent resource. Cheating in a Nutshell is an excellent book for betrayeds. Good luck. And please, when you drop the hammer, let the OBS know too. She deserves the truth as well. You'd want her to gift you the same if roles were reversed. https://lawexpression.com/can a divorce attorney subpoena Snapchat/ He doesn't need one. It has been done brazenly right in his face. There is no way that his wife has not had routine with the other man. They were most likely sleeping in the same bed during the ski trips. And A brazenly treated OP like OP was getting in his way concerning Op's wife. No, I don't feel like the third wheel. I feel like he is, and I think that explains why he confronted her on the fallout night and would also explain the "I told you I've made my decision" snap I caught her sending him last month. Big reason I think she's sticking harder to me is the money. When we got together I was a struggling bartender trying to make ends meet. A decade later I'm making $250K/year. I think she's torn between us but doesn't want to lose her lifestyle. Thankfully I don't live in a state that has alimony. Part of me thinks she'll be surprised, but part of me thinks she's currently in a manipulation strategy to deter me from it because she suspects something is up. I called her out on both occasions on our vacation about when I normally keep it bottled inside. I've also been distant with her. She slipped into a depression really bad last week and told me she's trapped in the darkness and feels like I'm drifting away from her. So yet I don't think she'll be surprised I considered divorce, but I think she'll be surprised I actually went through with it. She's an admin assistant for a finance company. Makes a fraction of what I do. Oddly enough, the intimacy has not dried up. Life is probably 2 to 3 times a week still, but that's also been a problem. It's difficult for me to be intimate with someone I know is betraying me.